Today, let's talk about something that feels more important than ever: character. What does it actually mean to be a good person in this incredibly complex world we're living in? Well, it turns out there's an ancient map for that, and it might just hold some answers for modern life.
Think about it. We throw around words like truth, honesty, and honor all the time. But are they just words, nice ideas we like to talk about? Or do they point to something deeper, something real and essential about how to navigate our lives?
Well, according to some of the wisdom traditions we're going to explore, these virtues aren't just a random list of good ideas. Nope. They're actually part of a system, an interconnected structure. Think of it like a moral architecture that gives a person real stability and strength.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this moral architecture, let's start with the most visible parts: the links in a chain that build on one another to create a truly strong character.
It all has to start here, with truth. And I mean truth with a capital T. This is the bedrock. It's just what is. The objective reality that exists whether we agree with it or not. If it's raining outside, that is the truth. Everything else, absolutely everything, has to be built on this solid ground.
And check out how this foundation builds, step by step. You start with truth. When you decide to speak that truth, well, that's honesty. When you do that consistently over and over, that builds integrity. You're actually living in alignment with the truth. That integrity, in turn, makes you trustworthy. And when you're trustworthy, people give you their trust. And finally, when you live a life built on this entire foundation, that's what earns you honor. You see, each link is literally forged by the one before it. It creates this unbreakable chain.
Okay, so we have this chain, this structure. But a structure on its own is just cold metal. What gives it life? What actually nourishes these virtues and makes them strong and vibrant? To find that out, we have to look a little deeper, kind of below the surface.
So it turns out that this whole structure of our character, this entire tree, is fed by two really fundamental unseen forces. Let's stick with that tree metaphor for a second. The two massive roots that feed this entire tree of virtues are love and wisdom. Love, that's the unifying force, right? It's the compassion, the care for others that even makes us want to be good people in the first place. And then you have wisdom. That's the guiding light. It's the understanding of how to apply that love and that truth in the right way for the right reasons.
And this right here perfectly shows why you absolutely need both. It is all about balance. See, love without any wisdom to guide it can just become a mess, emotional chaos, or even enabling bad behavior. But on the flip side, wisdom without any love can become cold, calculating, even cruel. A true, strong character needs both. One root just can't hold up the tree all by itself.
Now, what's so fascinating is that this idea of a balanced, integrated character, this isn't some new age self-help concept. Not at all. It's a timeless piece of wisdom that you can hear echoing through some of the oldest traditions in human history.
I mean, let's go way back to ancient Egypt. They had this concept of ma'at, the principle of truth and cosmic order. And they believed that when you died, your heart was literally weighed on a scale against her feather. A heart that was heavy with lies and deceit would fail the test. But a life of integrity? Well, that kept your heart as light as truth itself.
The Hermetic tradition gave us this really powerful idea: as above, so below. What does that mean? Basically, your inner world creates your outer world. If you can create harmony inside yourself, where your thoughts, your words, and your actions all line up, you will create a life of harmony around you.
And of course, the great Greek philosophers, they hammered this home. They argued that you don't just decide to be virtuous, you become virtuous by practicing it every single day. It's like a muscle. Your habits become your character, and ultimately, your character is what shapes your destiny.
So this is all really amazing philosophy, right? But it begs a pretty important question. How on earth do we take all this timeless wisdom and actually use it? How do we turn it into a practical map for our lives right here, right now?
Well, this is where it all comes together in this really beautiful, holistic system, one that connects all these virtues with the rhythms of nature and even the different stages of our own lives.
Okay, take a look at this. This is the Kah-Kondah sacred cycle. You can think of it as a wheel, or even better, a map. It aligns everything, the seasons, the elements, the stages of our lives, and it connects them to the specific virtues we need to be working on at each step. It's basically a guide to becoming a whole person.
Let's start our journey in the north. This is the direction of winter, the time of the elder. This is that season of life that's all about quiet reflection, about connecting with those deeper spiritual truths.
It's really less about doing and much more about just being, embodying that deep wisdom and love that you've gathered over a lifetime. Then, as the wheel turns, we move over here to the east. This is the place of the child, the season of spring. You can feel that fire, that spark of new beginnings and boundless curiosity. And what virtues are key here? Honesty and courage. That's what allows a child to just explore the world with wide open eyes and plant the very first seeds of their future vision.
Next, we head down to the south. This represents the youth, right in the heat of summer. This is a time of incredible growth, passion, and really deep emotions. And to navigate those powerful waters of relationships and feelings, you need these virtues, love, compassion, and integrity, to act as your anchors.
And we complete the circle here in the west, the time of the adult, and the harvest season of autumn. This is where it all becomes real, tangible. This is where your character hits the ground. All that inner work you've done culminates in real-world action, and it's shown through these bedrock virtues: trustworthiness, honor, and responsibility.
So you see, when you put it all together, this isn't just some random collection of inspiring ideas. It's a complete map for the human journey. It connects our own inner growth directly to the world around us and the life we're living.
And honestly, this is the biggest takeaway. Character isn't about following some rigid checklist of do's and don'ts. It's about finding a rhythm. It's about aligning our own lives with these natural cycles of growth and reflection and action. It's almost like a dance that we learn over the course of our whole lives.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a thought. Looking at this map, the child of spring, the youth of summer, the adult of autumn, the elder of winter, and thinking about the virtues of each stage, in the great cycle of your own life, where do you find yourself right now? And what is this particular season asking you to cultivate?
Today.